Alright, Shalom. We the Hebrew Israelites. Alright, we come out here week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of America. Alright, first I want to give all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and much love to the apostles that rule well at Great Millstone and all you sincere Akim out there that's pushing this truth and sincerity and in truth. Alright, and the first scripture I'm going to start off with today is Lamentations 2 and 15. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee, they hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. And the people that's hissing and wagging their tails at the daughter of Jerusalem, which is the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, all right? The people that hiss at you all are the other nations, all right? The so-called white man, the so-called Chinese man, the so-called Arab man, the so-called East Indian man, so-called African man, so-called Hawaiians, which are the Japhites, all right? All these other nations hiss and laugh at Israel's downfall, man, all right? And they're happy to see us in the state we're in, all right? But all of that is coming to a change, man. And once America's destroyed, everything is going to flip upside down, man, all right? Because right now, the so-called white man is ruling in his heaven, all right? Because the word heaven means kingdom. All right, because people like to use that word out of text and not know what it means, but the word heaven simply means kingdom or rulership. All right, and right now we're in the so-called white man's rulership. That's why he has the best jobs. That's why he has the best living arrangements, so to speak. All right, that's why he gets everything he wants. He gets off. All right, whether he kills you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, that's why he gets so many passes, because this is his kingdom. All right, but he was one of the main ones that hissed and wagged his tail and waited for our downfall. All right, because all the other nations always had hatred towards the nation of Israel. It says, saying, "Is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty?" Yeah, man, because we were known by our laws, statutes, and commandments that we pushed and that we followed of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. But now our people are known for being the most wickedest people on the planet Earth. Especially when it comes to the men of our nation, alright? They're known for being the most adulterous men on the planet. Alright? Our women are known for being the biggest sluts on the planet. Alright? And that's part of the curses. Okay? And it's also due to the way society is set up. Alright? Because the so-called white man won't allow you to do what the Bible says. But there's a lot of laws, statutes, and commandments in the Bible that's not followed in America. Because they say this is the land of the free, the land of God, which nobody is free. All right, and this is not the land of the Lord of the Bible, because there's no laws and statutes and commandments being followed in America. The so-called white man can't even follow the simple land Sabbath. He doesn't even let the land rest, man. And that's why he got to create genetically modified organisms to combat what the land can't do. Because there's no more farmland, man. All the farm food, all your fruits and vegetables come out of a factory now. That's why you got so many Americans that's sick and got obesity. That's why a lot of our people got all types of stuff like Alzheimer's. A lot of people got high blood pressure and diabetes. All that stuff comes from the food that we eat and the air that we breathe from the chemtrails. Okay? I'm going to read on. Alright, because yeah, we did used to be the perfection of beauty, man, because of the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Lord gave to us, because it was a beautiful thing. Alright? It says the joy of the whole earth. Yeah, we are the joy of the whole earth, man. Because the reason the sun even comes up is because of us, man. Alright? If the Israelites was not even on the planet, if the Israelites was not even on the planet, alright, the sun wouldn't even come up, man. Alright? Because really this earth was created for the Israelites, man. Alright? But we got put into slavery for us going against the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And that's where we are to this day, man. Alright? And see, you seen that so-called white man come up here, man, because they think everything's a joke. But it's gonna come a time. It's gonna come a time where all of the jokes and games is gonna be up, man. All right? Because the Lord, you know how Jake like to say, yo, I'm about to put in work. Well, the Lord is about to put in work on America, man, for His wickedness. All right? And all these other nations that laugh and mock the so-called Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans' downfall, they're going to be the same nations that's under our feet in the kingdom of heaven. And a lot of people don't want to hear that, but the people that's been oppressed in America, the people that's living in the ghettos, the people that got the worst jobs, and the people that's living on welfare because of the so-called white man used the welfare system to break up our families, all right? All of that is coming to an end, man, all right? In the kingdom of heaven, you're not going to see a so-called Negro, a Latino, a Native American Indian begging nobody for nothing, man, all right? All these other nations are going to be begging, man. All these other nations are going to be working, all right? And everything they did to us, castrated us, all right, had dogs rip babies out of our women's stomach, rape our women in front of us, kill our children in front of us. All these so-called white people are going to pay for that. And all the other nations that join air with the so-called white man, they're going to pay for that. All right? No picture, please. No picture, please. Okay, no recording, please. Yeah, you can take a picture of the sign or something.
I already know this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because the so-called white man, his agenda, his mind is that he wants the so-called Negroes and Latinos and Native American Indians to be back in hardcore slavery, all right? Because the New World Order, man, all of that is just set up to put you tribes back in hardcore slavery, all right? To have everybody under his control, okay? Because the so-called white man, he's all about destruction, man, all right? And really the only reason he haven't destroyed us yet because the Lord is having mercy on us, man. Even the 2/3 of Israel, the Lord won't allow the so-called white man to get rid of us. And he can't get rid of us because we're the apple of the Lord's eye. All right? So no matter how much these nations mock us, we always going to be the children of Israel, man. All right? It says, all thy enemies have opened up their mouth against thee. Yeah, all of our enemies. And all of our enemies are these other nations. All right? Starting with the so-called white man. All right, the so-called white man is the main enemy to the people on this sign. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. He's the main enemy. All right, and along with the other nations, the so-called Arabs, the so-called East Indians, the so-called Chinese people, so-called Japanese. All right, the so-called Hawaiians. All of them are our enemies according to the Bible. All right, and some of our main enemies in the Bible were who? The Amalekites. All right, which are the so-called white man, the Philistines, which are the so-called Africans. All of those were our enemies, man. But when you walk around and look around America, all our people want to be like our enemies, man. And that's why they got to be destroyed, man. That's why 2/3 of our people are going to lay dead in the streets, and they're going to die horrible deaths. And their children are going to die, man. Because once this society breaks down, and there's no taskmasters like the police to protect these people, it's gonna be everybody's gonna go toe to toe, man. And those are the times that we coming at. And the Lord gonna put His anger in His people, man, to get at you other nations. It says they hiss and gnash their teeth. They say we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this day that we look for, we have found and we have seen it. So these other nations, man, they were looking for this day, man. You know how you see the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians at the bottom? They was looking for this day, man. All right? They was waiting for this day. And now the day has come, they're happy, man. They're rejoicing. Like when now up in Harlem, like I was saying last week, now up in Harlem and in the Bronx, they bring the tourist bus through the hood, basically to show how you niggas are zoo animals, man. All right, to mock y'all. All right, and you know when they up in them tour buses, they talking all types of shit, man. All right. But hey, man, all of that is gonna come to an end, man. But that just shows how much our people are destroyed. Because just like when the so-called white man first took down the so-called Mexicans, all right, or the Arawak Indians, which today are known as the so-called Dominicans, all right, he would take them over to Spain. He would take them over to Spain, and then he would show them to the whoever's in power as like their zoo animals. And that's in the history. That could be looked up. All right? You don't got to take my word for it. Okay? Because this so-called white man has done many atrocities, man. All right? But I'm gonna bring out another scripture in the Apocrypha. This is Salah. Bear with me real quick. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 10, verse 21. For thou seest that our sanctuary is laid waste, our altar broken down, our temple destroyed. And what was one of the temples that was destroyed? Solomon's temple, man. All right, destroyed by the other nations. Okay. And it says our sorcery is laid on the ground. Our song is put to silence. It says our rejoicing is at an end. Yeah, there is no rejoicing, man. Honestly, man, if you are Israelite, if you are a part of one of these tribes on this sign, and you rejoicing in America, man, hey, man, if you don't repent, death is coming your way, man. All right, because you gotta be a bugged out Israelite to really be rejoicing in America, man. Because really, there's nothing to rejoice about. Over the course of 3 years, Harlem had turned into fucking transvestite land, man. All right? Everywhere you walk, you see a damn transvestite, man. All right? And that's the way America is set up, man. And the main transvestites is our people, man. Which shows what? That they're the most destroyed, man. Okay? And our people go harder than Esau to show that they're a faggot. All right? But it says, our song is put to silence, our rejoicing is at an end. The light of our candlestick is put out. The ark of the covenant is spoiled. Our holy things are defiled. Our land is defiled, man. You got those gutter rats over there that's pretending to be the Israelites or the Jews, which they're not. Okay, that's why they call themselves Jewish. All right, which means that they're not. That's just like if you say somebody looks blackish, but they're not black. All right, because there's nowhere in the Bible where it tells you to have no long ass sideburns on your head and wear an Abraham Lincoln hat. That's not in the scriptures. All right, there's nowhere in the scriptures where it tells you to wear all black all day. There's nowhere in the scriptures where it tells a woman to cut her hair off and put a wig over it. All right, and then you got those gutter rats over there in the land of Israel selling pig, man. How you gonna call yourself an Israelite and we not in the scriptures specifically say that we not supposed to eat swine? All right, but they sell kosher swine in Israel. In Tel Aviv, they have one of the most biggest LGBT parades over there, and that's why that land gotta be destroyed, man. That's why that land gotta be totally cleansed before we go over there, man. You know, because Ben Ami, he took some of our people over there, but it wasn't the time to go, man. Because if we go over there now, hey, you still under the so-called white man, because those gutter rats over there are Edomites, man. All right? Karzites. Okay? It says, our holy things defiled, and the name that is called upon us is almost profaned. Our children are put to shame. Our priests are burnt. Our Levites are gone into captivity. And honestly, all of us went into captivity, man. Starting from Judah all the way down to Issachar. And we still in captivity to this day. A lot of our people like to say, oh, we not in slavery. Yeah, you might not be in chains and getting whipped in the fields, but you're in a mental slavery. All right? A lot of our people got Stockholm Syndrome. They feel bad for who took them down, which is the so-called white man. And that's why 2/3 of our people gotta be destroyed, man. They gotta be wiped off the planet, man. Because their mindset is gone, man. And the only thing that can make them better is by them being killed off. Alright? Because by our people coming into captivity, the so-called white man beat Israelite out of us. Alright? And that's why people call themselves Negro or Puerto Rican or Dominican or Mexican. Those were names given to us by the so-called white man. All right. Like if you ask a normal Puerto Rican, what was their name before they were called Puerto Ricans, they couldn't tell you. They couldn't even tell you. They couldn't even tell you what the word Puerto Rico means. The word Puerto Rico means port rich. the so-called white man went to Puerto Rico and took the Taínos' jewelry and gold, all right? And that's one of the reasons why Puerto Rico is owned by America, man. Because the so-called white man went over there and stole all of their gold, all of their silver, and all their precious metals from them. And then he killed them down all the way to 500, man. And the so-called white man got Ephraim twisted up over there in Puerto Rico, man, because they think they living a life, man. And really, the so-called white man is showing them so-called Puerto Ricans over there in Puerto Rico that he don't give a shit about them, man. You know, the economy's breaking down over there. Nobody got jobs. Last time I checked, they trying to get rid of giving people retirements in Puerto Rico. And I just showed you that America's going down, man, because what? Puerto Rico is one of America's provinces.